Good to see you. Oh, we got. Well, we got to do some praise. Oh, Dion, she's mine. Hey, Dion. I enjoyed our little talk.
I know I do too.
Beer.
We will.
Hey, how about that, Cowboys?
Breaking news out of Cleveland, where tensions are building up between Jerry Jones, Shedeur Sanders, and Deion Sanders. After the controversial trade of Micah Parsons, Jerry Jones is eager to improve his standing in the black community, eyeing a potential game-changer in signing standout quarterback Shedeur Sanders. Sources say both sides are showing serious interest, as Shadur starts to fall behind, while Jones, still reeling from a tough loss to the Philadelphia Eagles in the opener, is feeling the heat.
That's where we are.
But
because a third party, rather than me and Micah, has got to come in. Why? Because he's got to get his fingerprint on it?
Come on, Jerry.
Come on, please. He's got to get his fingerprint on it. You're not talking to the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. You're talking to the general manager of the Cowboys. And so all these teams, owners, may not be involved. But in this case, I am the general manager.
There was a major fallout between Jerry Jones and many black fans of the team after he traded Micah Parsons to the Packers. Jerry tried to smooth things over, but it only seemed to make matters worse, ultimately leading to the trade. He later shared that things had been going well with Parsons, and they were close to finalizing the deal. However, just as they were nearing an agreement, Micah suddenly called him and said, "Don't call me anymore." Jones explained that Parsons had initiated the contact, but as they got closer to a deal, he abruptly stopped communication, likely influenced by his agent. According to Jones, this move threw a wrench in the process and escalated the tension unnecessarily.
Micah, don't call me anymore.
He said
so
that
we
to
haven't
you?
called.
Micah Parsons said to you, I don't want you to call me anymore.
Don't call me anymore. Don't call me anymore.
After calling you,
that's correct.
And igniting a negotiation, he turns around and exchanging numbers and negotiating. Don't call me anymore. And then he called you back and said, "Don't call. I don't want you to call me anymore."
The agent calls. He says, "We need to start a negotiation with Micah." Guy says, "Well, we have negotiated. We'll send you over the deal," proverbially.
Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders is slipping down the depth chart, and the growing tension between him and the organization is becoming hard to ignore. Andrew Barry has been outspoken in his praise for Dillon Gabriel, barely acknowledging Shedeur in the process. It's clear there's a divide between the young quarterback and the front office. And now the quarterback depth chart has been shaken up. In a bold move, Barry has named Dillon Gabriel as the new second-string quarterback, putting him ahead of Shedeur Sanders. This isn't just a routine change. It's a clear statement. Barry has even gone as far as to call Gabriel the team's top young investment for the future, signaling where his priorities lie.
Understand it's a little bit of a contrast, but Dillon's been awesome. He is, wise and mature beyond his years. He has outstanding preparation habits. He's very smart, and he fits what we want to do. He's highly accurate, a good decision maker.
As Shedeur Sanders continues to fall down the depth chart, Jerry Jones is facing growing criticism from the media, with Stephen A. Smith at the forefront of the backlash. Smith didn't hold back, pointing out that Jerry Jones is only making things worse, despite his extensive experience in navigating complex situations. According to Smith, Jones is exacerbating the issue by trying to paint Micah Parsons' actions as disrespectful, attempting to position him as different from other players. By doing this, Jones is portraying Micah in a negative light, when, in reality, the entire situation could have been handled much more smoothly. It's clear that Jones's approach is only intensifying the drama surrounding the team.
And then told me don't call him. After we did all of this, now I got a problem with that. That's how he was coming at it. And that's why I think this particular negotiation is different than the others. Because he's saying his behavior is different than what the others were. You'll hear him bring up Dak Prescott and the difference between Dak Prescott and Micah Parsons as it pertains to how these negotiations have transpired. And again, whether you agree or disagree.
On the other hand, Chris Canty offered a contrasting view, suggesting that Jerry Jones has a specific agenda, one focused on maintaining strict control over his players. Canty believes that Jones is pushing back against the rising trend of player empowerment, particularly as NFL players are starting to gain more influence over their own futures, similar to what we've seen in the NBA. According to Canty, Jones doesn't want players to have that level of power. Instead, he prefers to be the one in charge, controlling negotiations and ensuring that the players aren't the ones calling the shots.
Being a part of the Dallas Cowboys. But I do think there is an agenda that Jerry has, and it has nothing to do with football. It has everything to do with pushing back against the resurgence of player empowerment and how NFL players have tried to push the envelope to get closer in partnership with owners, comparable to what we've seen from NBA players and in that league.
Chris Canty went on to explain that in his efforts to criticize Micah Parsons, Jerry Jones has inadvertently revealed his own tactics. Canty argued that Jones is trying to assert his dominance over the contract negotiations, making it clear he wants to have the final say. However, Canty emphasized that Parsons' agent, David Mulugheta, won't allow that to happen. Mulugheta, who famously negotiated Deshaun Watson's record-breaking contract with Jimmy Haslam, is no stranger to challenging team owners. Canty pointed out that this power struggle is part of a larger issue, where owners like Jones are determined to maintain control and dominance within the league.
At some point, someone has to have say over the other, end quote. This is about Jerry Jones asserting his position as the owner and as the tone setter for the National Football League. And it's not only with Micah Parsons in this negotiation for his football team, but it's also with David Mulugheta, his agent, who just so happens to be the man that negotiated the Deshaun Watson contract that every owner in the NFL ridiculed Jimmy Haslam for doling out. They do not want this to be what the NBA has turned into. They want to maintain this power imbalance that they have with the NFL players currently.
Joe Fortenbaugh also chimed in, echoing Canty's perspective on the matter. He pointed out that Jerry Jones tried to take control by pushing the agent out of the negotiation process. However, by doing so, Jones only created obstacles on both sides. While it seemed clear he was trying to save money, Fortenbaugh argued that this strategy only made matters worse. What could have been a straightforward deal quickly spiraled into a full-blown standoff. Now, the situation remains unresolved, with tensions continuing to rise on both sides and no clear end in sight.
I'll give Jerry a little bit of credit here because it is crafty. I mean, this is a negotiation. You're trying to separate the player from his agent. If you get the agent out of the equation, you might be able to swing the balance of power in your favor. You might be able to save a little bit of money. The problem with that move is once you get outed like he has been now you have to figure out what the next step is because you've escalated in the conflict. And if the other side doesn't take that kindly, which they're not, now we start to get to a point where...
In conclusion, the situation surrounding Jerry Jones, Micah Parsons, and Shedeur Sanders has quickly escalated into a full-blown drama, with multiple layers of tension involving player empowerment, control, and negotiation strategies. Jerry Jones, known for his decades of experience in handling complex situations, seems to have made a series of missteps. By pushing back against the growing influence of players and attempting to assert total control over contract negotiations, Jones has inadvertently made things worse. The fallout from the Micah Parsons trade and his subsequent comments only served to fuel the fire, as critics like Stephen A. Smith argue that Jones is exacerbating the situation by framing Parsons as disrespectful. On the flip side, Shedeur Sanders' situation is no less complicated. The quarterback, once seen as a rising star, is now struggling to maintain his place on the depth chart, with Andrew Barry's decision to promote Dylan Gabriel over him sending a clear message about the team's priorities. The divide between Shadur and the organization is evident, and it raises questions about the future of both the player and the team. Meanwhile, agents like David Mulugheta, who represent players like Parsons, continue to challenge team owners' power, and figures like Chris Canty and Joe Fortenbaugh have pointed out that Jerry Jones's efforts to dominate negotiations are only causing more friction. As it stands, tensions are high, and the path forward remains unclear, leaving fans and analysts alike wondering how this saga will unfold. What do you all think about this whole situation? Do you believe Jerry Jones is making the right moves, or is he letting his desire for control cloud his judgment? How do you feel about the way Micah Parsons and Shedeur Sanders are being treated? Are they just victims of the business side of football, or is there more to the story? And with player empowerment becoming a bigger issue, do you think we're seeing a shift in how negotiations and team dynamics will play out in the future? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think.